We are, as a people, inherently and historically opposed to secret society, opposed to secret oaths, opposed to secret proceedings, secret proceedings. No official of my administration, whether his rank is high or low, should interpret my words here tonight as an excuse to censor the news, to stifle dissent, to cover up our mistakes, or to withhold from the press and the public the facts they deserve to know.
Welcome to Conspiracy Corner Podcast, everyone. This is Abe, your host. I just got off work. It is September 17th, 8:30 a.m. Today was a pretty chill day. I remember the last update on the podcast, I think it was like 2 days ago, I was talking about my car, how I ran through a puddle. Turns out that's all it was. That's what I thought it was, but you can never be too careful. Like, I left the house to go to work last night, and it was putting and stuff and acting funky for about 10-15 minutes, and then it straightened up and, knock on wood, running like a sewing machine again. So that's good. Work's been pretty chill. Life's been pretty good, except for honestly just the basic discouragement of looking out the front door and hearing all the craziness going on. I ain't gonna lie, there is a tiny little cloud that hangs above me of the day that I'm gonna lose my job, but until then I try not to think about it. I try to just keep trucking along and then distract myself and keep working as if I'm not going to lose my job over a mandate. It's all you can do, I guess. But yeah, today we are covering, basically this is kind of going to be, it ties in with some previous episodes. Ties in with the Orwellian Australia episode, which if you're on YouTube, I'm going to leave in the credits. You can go ahead and click on both of the episodes that I'm going to reference now. That way you can kind of get a full story. Like I said, each episode is kind of puzzle pieces to other episodes. And I always try to make sure I leave it to where when you get to the credits, you can click on the previous episodes if you haven't heard them yet. But it links in with the Orwellian Australia episode. And it also links in with an episode of Dr. Fauci doing some crazy, weird experiments on dogs, which I thought you might find interesting. I got two crazy stories, little short articles. I'm just going to go through and comment on them. That's usually what I do when it's a solo show. It makes it easier when I got two people here to bounce off of, but me and my wife work two different shifts, and if my little brother lived close, man, I'd be doing podcasts with him left and right, you know. Hell, I would probably even start my own podcast with him, you know. But yeah, that's what we're covering today. Well, that's the episodes that it's going to be connected with. And we'll get on with the show. Oh, before we get on with the show, like I said, I'm going to leave at the credits of if you're watching on YouTube, so you can click on both of those previous episodes if you haven't heard them. It's Orwellian Australia, and I believe the other one's called Poor Puppies, ... If you're a YouTube subscriber and you would rather listen to audio only, because I know it sounds weird, but some people do. It saves their phone battery, like if they're working or whatever. You can find us on Breaker, Google Podcasts, Radio Public, Spotify, Anchor, and BitChute for uncensored stuff. And if you're a audio listener and you want to see my face and put a face to the voice, And we also do short videos sometimes here and there. We do ghost hunting videos, cryptozoology videos, random videos like taste test videos, or like cooking videos, silly stuff like that. The YouTube account is Conspiracy Corner Podcast, and the profile picture is a bunny rabbit with a samurai sword. But sorry about that. Now we'll get on with the show. Alright, both of this shit is pretty fucked up. So let's get, I think, the more fucked up one over with first. Now, you heard me promote the YouTube channel, and there's a reason why I promote the YouTube channel if you're an audio-only listener, because I got an image up that I want you to see with your own two eyes. Now, I'm what you would call an old-school liberal. It might blow your fucking mind. I don't care if it bothers you. I don't care if it offends you, but I am pro-abortion under certain circumstances. Like if for some reason your 12-year-old daughter gets raped and she's going to school, I don't think she should be forced to drop out of school, ruin her career for an unwanted baby that's a product of rape. That, and I think it would cause awkwardness to that child of, where's my dad? Oh, your dad was some dude who held me at knife point in an alleyway. Also, I think that abortion is fine if the mother is going to die having the baby. That's just my opinion. Also, I think abortion is fine if, you know, like a family member has sex with an underage person or something, and the underage person is stupid, young and dumb is what we call it here in the U.S., because that baby's going to come out quite possibly like deformed or, pardon my French, but retarded, something like that. That being said, this fucking article that I'm going to read you on what this sick, goblin-looking motherfucker is doing, or did, is disgusting. It literally makes me sick. And I put this certain image up because I want you guys to see this gross shit. And I should hope this makes you sick, and I should hope this makes you mad. So maybe, I don't know, you could do some protest, maybe write some letters, maybe, I don't know. You do what thou wilt. This is lifenews.com, so this isn't conspiracy theory, even though this is Conspiracy Corner Podcast, you know. It's gotten to the point where if I'm starting to call people coincidence theorists, you know, because 2020 and 2021 are literally, you are living in a conspiracy theory at this point. And if you're too stupid to look out the window and realize that, I don't know. You're doomed. So the article is, Anthony Fauci gave scientists over $400,000 to make humanized mice. Now, this is the same guy who did those experiments on those poor dogs, which I told you I'd leave a link. You need to check that out. I'm not going to go into that rabbit hole. This motherfucker is evil. There's a reason why I call him a goblin, because he looks like a goblin and he acts like a goblin. White House Health Advisor Dr. Anthony Fauci, federal agency, gave more than $400,000 to support a grisly experiment that involved scalping second trimester aborted babies and then implanting their skins onto rodents. You know, and like I said at the beginning, man, I'm pro-abortion for certain circumstances, but that's fucking disgusting. I didn't say that they could use the fucking babies for weird, gross shit like this. The disturbing taxpayer-funded project received renewed attention this week at a Pennsylvania House hearing where experts testified about the experiment and other research with aborted baby body parts at the University of Pittsburgh. And now that sounds good, you know, that you could grow human body parts on rats using aborted fetuses, because I have the mindset of, you know, why let it go to waste? But I don't like this motherfucker doing it. And you need to listen to that episode on how he literally tortured puppies when it was unnecessary. And you'll realize why I don't want this particular sick fucker doing this weird shit. I can't stand the goblin. Ooh, it makes me mad. Don't even get me started. A new report at Just the News linked the experiment to Fauci, a prominent U.S. health expert. Expert my fucking ass. He's a celebrity doctor, dude. According to its research, Fauci's agency, the National Institute of Allergy and Infectious... Sorry, I got a text message. Allergy and Infectious Disease, because I'm reading from my phone. NIAID, or NIAID, I guess would be short, under the National Institute of Health gave more than $400,000 in taxpayer funding to University of Pittsburgh researchers to conduct the experiment. Here's more from the report. Researchers involved from the study did not respond to queries for comment on the research. Oh, wait, you mean they didn't respond to your questions? Huh. Imagine that. The NIAID and Anthony Fauci also did not respond to queries. Oh, you mean Mr. Dr. Fauci? Dr. Fauci dodged questions. Wouldn't be the first time I dodged questions. Just trust the science. Trust the science. Also did not respond to queries seeking more information about the project's funding, including how the NIAID funds projects using aborted fetal remains. Now, I know it's spelled NIAID, but I'm going to call it NIAID because, I don't know, it just flows better off the tongue. Federal records show that NIAID supplied the project with about $430,000, so actually it's more than $400,000, in funding over 2018 and 2019. The information comes from a study that University of Pittsburgh researchers published in September of 2020. The journal, Scientific Reports. The study also mentions, I think I've actually heard of that, Scientific Reports as a journal. So, I mean, like I said, this ain't a conspiracy. They're legit talking about this shit. The study also mentions receiving support from National Institutes of Health Award yeah, I'm not going to read all that off. Well, if you want, P30CA047904. That way you can look it up because, like I said, don't even trust me. Look this stuff up on your own. And the NIH Fogarty International Center Source D43TW0100 and then 39. So it is not clearly exactly how much tax money was spent in total on the experiment. So by the way, that part should right there make you mad. It's not clear how much of your tax money, if you're an American citizen, how much of your hard-earned money that you've worked with your blood, sweat, and tears, how much of it went to this sick experiment. And by the way, Dr. Fauci, they're dodging questions. I just told you they're both dodging questions, so they're not going to answer how much of their money that they stole from you to use for these fucking weird-ass experiments. So that right there should fire you up a little bit. In the study, scientists used scalps from aborted babies between 18 and 20 weeks of pregnancy to create humanized mice and rats to study the human immune system. The researchers described it as full-thickness human skin. And there's a photo, like I said, you'll have to go to YouTube to check it out. It's pretty fucking gross looking. Along with their article, the researchers published photos of their experiments. Horrific images that show tufts of baby hair growing on rodents. Earlier this week, a new video from the Center of Medical Progress shared details about the Grizzly experiment and other research projects at the university involving aborted baby body parts. CMP founder David DeLayden also testified about his research to Pennsylvania lawmakers. Now you can go and find that video. It actually has a link to it. You can click on it. I'm personally not going to watch it. Like I said, you can find it. I told at the beginning of the podcast, I told who was the article. I simply went on DuckDuckGo and looked it up. I just don't feel like watching that gross shit. I just ate, and honestly, sometimes doing this podcast, it gets me fired up, and I don't need to be fired up before I go to bed, because I go to bed after this podcast. I usually lay down and read a book and unwind, and I read fiction too. I'm reading J.K. Rowling, The Ichabod right now, because it's like, dude, I can't even read nonfiction right now. The world is so fucking crazy. I'm like, I switched to fiction. I'm like, I got to unplug. I got a blue pill before I go to sleep, if you catch my drift. Pro-life leaders in the state plan to hold a protest Friday at the University of Pittsburgh. So, I mean, this is an old article. It's already went and done. But you guys can definitely, like I said earlier, you guys can protest. It's all in your hands. You can call, you can protest. Do it. You know, I'm all for it. I'm gung-ho, dude. If I live close enough, you can hit me up in the comments, man. I live in Kentucky. I'll go do it with you, man. Even if it's just me and you out there, and me, you, and my wife out there, I don't care. 3 people is more than 0. To demand that it ends unethical taxpayer-funded research with body parts from aborted babies. See, right there, too, that's taxpayer money from Christians, too. So Christians are paying for something that they don't believe in. The Christians, if you're a listener, like I said, if you're a Christian and you're welcome to listen to this. I'm personally not one. But this should get you all pissed off, man. Is that your tax money, if you're an American, is going towards against the Bible, essentially. And you didn't even have a choice. Herb Garati, executive director of Rehumanize International and a graduate of the university, expressed horror at the recent revelations. Now, this is his quote, I'm guessing. As a proud Pitt graduate, I was shocked to learn the extent to which my alma mater participants in this type of medical and scientific research, Garati said. As a taxpayer, I was horrified to learn that our government is actively funding this cruelty. Rehumanize International Students for Life of America, the Pennsylvania Family Council, Choose Life at Pitt, 40 Days for Life, Pittsburgh, and others are planning to protest. So a shit ton of people are going to be protesting this if they haven't already. They also are collecting signatures on an open letter, and it has a link. I'm not sure if you can still sign, that calls on the University of Pittsburgh to end its experiments with aborted babies and for the Pennsylvania General Assembly to conduct a full investigation. All right, now I am going to tell you this is lifenews.com, and you should be able to find the article. The article head was simply Anthony Fauci gave scientists over $400,000 to make humanized mice with scalps from aborted babies. There's a link to the video so you can look at the video of what's going on. There's also a link to the open letter which you can sign, I'm guessing still. So if this shit fires you up, then I would advise you to go find this and sign it. I would leave a link in the description below, but I'm not going to lie, I'm kind of stupid when it comes to that. I don't know how to get it off my phone onto the computer. My wife is the tech-savvy one. I'm just the one who screams behind the microphone. But we are not finished with the show. We're going to get on with the second part. It kind of connects with Anthony Fauci killing puppies, which was the episode that I told you about, and also how Australia is going in. It's Orwellian over there. It is getting weirder and crazier in Australia, which is what I'm going to share with you on this next article. And I'm going to comment throughout it, and we'll call it a day. So I hope you stay tuned, because if this shit pissed you off, this shit should piss you off too. And it's all kind of connected. All right. Had to get me a little smoke break in. I usually try to take a break here and there during the podcast, so that's why you hear that little click, click. If you listen closely enough, you'll hear it. Click, 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 click. All right, so this is from Sky News. And by the way, I don't really like news, like mainstream news, but I'm not sure if this is a mainstream news in Australia, but I actually have subscribed to Sky News on YouTube, and I would advise you, if you're wanting some actual good, like, world news and stuff, they do focus, like I said, pardon, I got hiccups, I ate a steak sandwich, so, they do focus a lot on Australia, but it is like genuinely a good, legit like news site. Like I've always liked Sky News and RT, you know. But yeah, this article is COVID-19 rescue dog shot dead in Australia over coronavirus restrictions. A council in Australia killed the impounded animals to prevent volunteers at an animal shelter from traveling to pick them up and potentially spreading the virus. 15 rescue dogs, including 10 puppies, have been shot dead by a rural Australian council under its interpretation of, oh, by the way, I'm going to have to start using code words. So now that we're getting into the whole CV, sorry about that. Council under its interpretation of beer bug restrictions. Berkshire Council in North South Wales destroyed the canines, which had been at its pound, to prevent volunteers at an animal shelter from traveling to pick them up and potentially spreading the V word. Quote, the council decided to take this course of action to protect its employees and community, including vulnerable Aboriginal populations, from the risk of the beer bug transmission. The Office of Local Government, a government watchdog, told the Sydney Morning Herald. The spokesman said officials were investigating whether any animal cruelty laws had been broken. 5 of the dogs had been housed at the pound since early August, and one of the dogs then had 10 pups. The council said staff became concerned for the welfare of the animals due to the overcrowding at the pound. Well, that I understand, getting concerned over overcrowding. I do get that. And 2 of the dogs attacking one of the others. So yeah, I mean, you got a bunch of, I do kind of get that. I ain't gonna lie. I like to play devil's advocate. So the council staff became concerned that the animals were overcrowded. 2 of the dogs ganged up on one of the dogs. Yeah, that's a problem. I would have honestly just shot probably those 3 dogs and freed up a little bit of space. Obvious, well, not the victim, but the 2 dogs that ganged up on the one. Take them out back. Bang, bang. Sorry, I'm from Kentucky and I am an American, so we're kind of trigger happy over here. But there you go. You freed up 2 more cages. Look at that. A source said the shelter volunteers were distressed and already had beer bug safe measures in place to handle the dogs. So if the measures were beer bug safe, what's the point in literally blowing the brains out of 10 dogs? And it says shot too, by the way, so they like blew their brains out. Alright, now this is where it gets good. Have you guys, I hope you guys listen to Ricky Gervais. I fucking love the dude. If you had, like, I'm sure I'm speaking to the choir, but he did an awesome, I think it was the Oscars or the Emmys or something. I confuse it because I don't watch award shows when they hand out awards to a bunch of pedophiles. Ricky Gervais did this amazing roast. Like I think it was like at the beginning of like the beer bug pandemic. But yeah. So, comedian Ricky Gervais has expressed his disapproval of the killings on social media. I love you, Ricky Gervais. I doubt you'd ever hear this, but I hope you do, man, because I love you to death. You're like one of the very few who are speaking out about any of this bullshit as far as like Epstein and how all of Hollywood is a bunch of pedophiles. And I fucking love Ricky Gervais. I'm surprised he hasn't caught a bullet yet. Berkshire Council told ABC News the dogs were euthanized because the rescue organization was from another local government area and they had concerns about people from other communities entering Burke. Oh, they had concerns that people would travel and give them the common cold. Aw. Yeah, that would suck, wouldn't it? Let's blow all the dogs' brains out today. You know what this sounds like to me is like a bunch of nurses, or not nurses, I don't even know. What do you call the people who take care of the dogs at the shelter? Sounds like a bunch of people who take care of the dogs at the shelter were like, hey, dude, you know it'd be a good idea is to take advantage of this whole beer bug thing, and we could just like kill all the dogs. Then it would be less work. We wouldn't have to scoop any more poop. We wouldn't have to, feed them. We wouldn't have to play with them. Dude, our lives would be so much easier if just somebody just brought in a gun and just blew all their brains out. How about that? Sorry, this episode's dark, y'all. I hope there's no children in the room, but I always did tell you guys in previous episodes this is not a kid's channel. All of the regional staff, all of the regional New South Wales has a, quote, stay-at-home, unquote, orders in place due to the beer bug. The council said it had contacted its usual dog. So basically right there, South Wales already has a stay-at-home order. So no one can go and get puppies anyways. So that's against you. And that slightly gives my theory more credence. The council said it had contacted its usual dog, Rehomer, who is based in the same area, but they were unable to come to Burke because of the stay-at-home order, you dumb fucks. Sorry. I get fired up, man. When you start killing puppies and babies and that shit just, ooh, I start burning up, dude. I start turning into fucking William Cooper on the other end of this microphone. The shelter was supposed to receive the dogs, declined to comment. Oh, it sounds like that last article earlier in the episode that we read. They declined to comment. How convenient. Animal Liberation Regional Campaign Manager Lisa Ryan has called for an urgent investigation, and so should be done. Quote, we are deeply distressed and completely appalled by this callous dog shooting, and we totally reject the council's unacceptable justifications that this killing was apparently undertaken as part of the beer bug safe plan, she said. Australia has recently seen a surge in beer bug cases, forcing the country's largest city, Sydney, to extend its lockdown through September and impose tougher restrictions, such as a curfew and a mask mandate outdoors. Because they already said the beer bug dies literally in sunlight, like instantly. But yeah, wear a mask though. Outdoors. Fuck fresh air. That never did anything good for anyone. Staff are allowed to work at animal shelters even when lockdown measures are in place, according to the Office of Local Government spokesman. Quote, councils are also encouraged to continue to work with rehoming organizations and volunteers to take care for animals where that can be undertaken consistent with NSW health advice. I don't know what NSW is. That could be like a Australian thing, but I'm not sure. So yeah, I did a whole episode. If you're an animal lover, I did a whole episode on how they were killing dogs, and like I said, I will leave it in the credits here shortly. And I did an episode on how Fauci was connected with that whole thing, on how Fauci was literally torturing animals even when it was unnecessary. And I even go into great detail how the experiments were finished and they had already come to a conclusion. But he continued the experiments for no reason whatsoever, I guess, except for being a psychopath. Yeah, fuck that dude. And fuck the dude who shot all these dogs. Like I said, the two dogs that attacked the other dog, I get it. There's overcrowding. And they eventually do put them down. And a bullet, to me, is just as good as lethal injection. I would have killed those two dogs and freed up a little bit of room and kept the dogs there until we did something with them. Sounds to me like a bunch of lazy people at a shelter who are just simply, hey, if we killed them all, or at least 10 of them, it'd free up room and it'd be less work for us, and then we can sit on our fat lazy butts, and I can flirt with Susan over there at the desk and look down her shirt and cheat on my wife with her, Fuck these scumbags, dude. I'm sorry if I'm in a foul mood, but sometimes, man, I gotta spit fire and fucking brimstone like one of the last prophets in Revelation, because we're in the goddamn apocalypse, dude. And maybe this wasn't the fucking prophet that you wanted or the preacher that you wanted, but I'm gonna preach it and teach it until the day I fucking die. Ain't nothing stopping me until you can't hear this voice anymore. God bless y'all. Y'all have a good fucking day, dude. Catch you later.
We are, as a people, in inherently and historically. Opposed to secret societies. Opposed to secret oaths. Opposed to secret proceedings. Secret proceedings. No official of my administration, whether his rank is high or low, should interpret my words here tonight as an excuse to censor the news, to stifle dissent, to cover up our mistakes, or to withhold from the press and the public the facts they deserve to know.